In this lesson, we will explain automated investigation and remediation, so-called AIR feature of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution in terms of responding to security issues in your organization's environment. In one of the previous sections, when we talked about architecture, features, and capabilities of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution, we have mentioned automated investigation and response, so-called AIR, and now we will show how we can use automated investigation and remediation capabilities to respond to threats and attacks in your organization's environment. Automated investigation response uses various different algorithms in background to detect malicious activities on endpoint machines, and afterwards does automated remediation. If you recall previous section where we explained how you or your IT team can execute remediation tasks based on security recommendations, automated investigation response on the other hand does automated remediation in order for you or your IT team to be able to focus on some other more important tasks. Technically, automated investigation and response starts once that alert is triggered. That alert is triggered based on a result of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint's malicious entity detection on a particular machine. For example, let's assume that a malicious file exists on a device. First, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint will detect that malicious file on a machine, and it will trigger alert that will create incident. After incident creation, an automated investigation begins on that machine where malicious file was detected. This investigation includes analyzing of that malicious file that triggered the investigation and collecting and inspecting all other items associated with that malicious file to see if there are any other threats existing. Finally, investigation will create a list of all entities that could somehow be related to this alert and which are found on that machine during the process of investigation of whole area that could possibly contain threat-related entities. That area includes files, registry keys, various services, processes, scripts, IP addresses, and more. Once done, that entities will be classified as malicious, suspicious, or clean, or to say no threats found. During investigation, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint searches in its data history for threats with similar patterns on some other machines. And if it finds that, then it will add those machines to that investigation as well. You can conclude by now that not every automated investigation will result in automated remediation action. And now, automated remediation comes next after investigation is finished. And this is the step where automated investigation and response features capabilities can be configured per your organization needs. Within Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution, you can adjust automated investigation and remediation capabilities to several levels of automation. These are full automation, semi-automation, and not protected. Semi-automation level of automation is splitted to some additional sub-levels, but all semi-automation have in common that some remediation actions happen automatically after investigation, while on the other hand, some need to be approved by human before they are executed. Let's explain that. So not protected automation level of automated investigation and remediation feature will completely disable automated investigations on selected machines. Obviously, this level of automation is not recommended by Microsoft. Since automated investigation is disabled in this mode, no remediation actions will be taken. Semi-require approval for any remediation level of automated investigation and remediation feature requires human to approve any kind of remediation actions after automated investigation is done. But nevertheless, investigations are happening automatically. Semi-require approval for non-temporary folders level of automated investigation and remediation feature will enable automatic remediation for any file that is located in a temporary folder, or for any file in user's download folder. On the other hand, approval will be required for all remediation actions needed on files that are not located in a temporary folder or for any file in user's download folder. Semi-require approval for core folders level of automated investigation and remediation feature will enable automatic remediation for any file that is not present in system directory, such as program files folders or Windows folders, which means approval will be needed for any remediation actions needed on files that are in a core folders, including operating system directories. Full remediate threats automatically level of automated investigation and remediation feature will allow Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution to perform any kind of remediation actions automatically on everything that is concluded as malicious by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution, without need for you or your IT team to approve. For obvious reasons, this automation level is recommended to use by Microsoft. All these mentioned and explained levels of automation cannot be configured, changed or edited. They are pre-configured in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution. However, you can adjust automated investigation and remediation feature to use one of these levels of automation. Level of automation is applied on a machine group. Even though full automation is recommended, as we told, in a real environment there may be some exclusions, where you would want to put machines into some of semi-automated levels or even in exclusion mode for various reasons, something we will show later on. You can see that all taken and pending remediation actions as well in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Administration portal. We will show that later as well. Now that we know about automated investigation and remediation capabilities, let's have a quick overview of what we just talked about in a short demonstration. Now that we are positioned in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Administration portal, first we need to enable automated investigation and remediation for automatic threats investigation and remediation. To do so, first let's go to Settings. Here on the Settings, let's go to Endpoints. And we need to choose Advanced Features. And we need to make sure that automated investigation and automatically resolve alerts settings are turned on. Now, for recently created tenants, full remediate threats automatically level of automated investigation and remediation feature will be enabled by default. And let's assume that in your organization you have certain machines for which you do not want this scenario to be applied. Let's assume that you have particular machine for which you do not want any kind of remediation actions to be done automatically, no matter of circumstances. For that particular machine, you want to apply not protected automation level of automated investigation and remediation. So to do that, first you need to set up device group which will include that particular machine. To do that, you will first go to Settings. So let's go again to Settings, Endpoints, and here on the Endpoints, you need to select Device Groups below Permissions. Now before we continue, You can see here in device groups that I don't have any device groups at the moment. This is default one, which means that automation level of automated investigation and remediation is set to default in my tenant, which means for all devices in my environment, full remediate threats automatically level of automated investigation and remediation will be applied. Let's show that. So if I go in device inventory, and if I select any of these devices, let's say for this example I will select test machine 1. And if I select alerts on test machine 1, here I can see a list of all alerts associated with that particular machine. And as you can see, they are all in resolved status. Even though I was not executing or approving any kind of remediation tasks. It was all done automatically. Now let's return to a stage where we were about to set up a device group for machines without automation level of automated investigation and remediation. So again, let's go to Settings, Endpoints, and below Permissions again, let's go to Device Groups. Now here I will add a device group. For name, well, obviously we can say no automation. And below automation level, here you can see all that automation levels which we explained earlier in this lesson. Now let's choose no automated response. And we can leave description empty and select Next. Now this here is the most important step, since here we will add targeted device on which we will apply no automation level. So right next to operator starts with, I will add value of targeted device, and I will type desktop. So why will I type desktop? I will type desktop since I know that targeted device name starts with desktop. And now I will click Next. Here I will select Show Preview. And you can see that Microsoft Defender for Endpoint solution found targeted device by criteria that we provided in previous step. Now I select Next. So here we need to select user groups that should have access to this device group we are setting up. So for these demonstration purposes, we can choose any of these. Let's select first one, Azure ATP Contoso User Business A Viewers. And let's select Add Selected Groups. Here it is, this group is added now, and now we can select Done. Now we can see this notification telling us that device group configuration has changed, and we will now click Apply Changes. Now if we go to Device Inventory, once again, and if we check this machine on which we applied no automation level of automated investigation and remediation, so this is machine desktop CN27JR4. And now, if we choose that instead of no automation level, we want to apply, for example, semi-require approval for any remediation level of automated investigation and remediation, we don't need to create new device group. We can just edit existing one. So let's go back to Settings, Endpoints, here we are. Now again we need to select device groups, below permissions. And we will select already existing group called No Automation instead of creating new one. And here we can change automation level from No Automated Response to any automation level we wish. For this demonstration, we will choose, as we told, semi-require approval for all folders. Now we will select Next, all up to the Done, Next, Next, and Done. And again, we will select Apply Changes. Now we can visit the Action Center to see remediation actions. So let's go to Actions and Submissions, here on the left pane. There it is, Actions and Submissions, and let's click on Action Center. So here, below History columns, you can see all remediation actions that were executed, either as a result of automated remediation on top of the automated investigation, or after they were approved by human. And here below row Pending, you can see all remediation actions that needs to be done, but are waiting for your approval, since we created such automation level rule. In case you created and applied automation level rule on particular machine, but you don't see anything here, as we do not at the moment, that obviously means that investigation is still happening on that particular device. It will show here once done. Under Pending, you can review and after you approve or reject that proposed pending actions. And that's it for this lesson. In next and last video of 6th module, we will summarize everything we have learned in module 6.